Welcome to Pages to Prosperity. Today we're diving into the 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch, a game-changing book that teaches us how to harness the power of this universal rule and how to maximize success in life, work, and beyond. Stay tuned as we break it down into actionable insights you can start applying today. Let's jump right in. Part 1. What is the 80-20 Principle? At its core, the 80-20 Principle, also known as the Pareto Principle, states that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. This idea, first observed by economist Vilfredo Pareto, applies to virtually everything in life. Whether it's business, relationships, or personal goals, a small portion of your actions often yields the majority of your results. For instance, have you noticed that only a handful of your daily tasks actually move the needle? Or that most of your profits come from a small group of clients? That's the 80-20 principle in action. Richard Koch argues that by identifying and focusing on this vital 20%, you can achieve extraordinary outcomes with less effort. But here's the twist. Most of us spend too much time on the 80% that barely matters. The key is to shift your focus to what truly drives success. Part 2. Applying the principle in work. Let's talk about work, where this principle can revolutionize productivity. According to Koch, most businesses are bloated with activities and processes that deliver little value. The smart move is to identify the top 20% of tasks, clients, or products responsible for the bulk of your results. Example: in sales, Koch points out that a small percentage of customers often account for the majority of revenue. A company that identifies and caters to this 20%, their high-value clients, can scale faster and more efficiently than one that treats all customers equally. How to apply this? Look at your to-do list. Which tasks align with your biggest goals? Focus on those and consider delegating or eliminating the rest. Track your time for a week. You'll probably find that only a few hours were spent on truly impactful work. Next week, prioritize that time. Part 3. Relationships and personal life. Surprisingly, the 80-20 principle also applies to your relationships. Koch suggests that a small number of your connections bring the most joy and value to your life. Instead of spreading yourself thin, double down on these meaningful relationships. Story from the book. Koch shares how one of his friends realized that most of his happiness came from spending time with just a few close people. By cutting out toxic or superficial connections, his life transformed almost overnight. Ask yourself, who are the 20% of people who lift you up? Focus on those relationships and see how it changes your life. Part 4. Money and wealth. When it comes to finances, Koch argues that wealth accumulation also follows the 80-20 rule. The richest individuals don't spread their investments or efforts equally. They double down on the opportunities that yield the highest returns. Example from history. Richard Koch highlights entrepreneurs like Warren Buffett, who built their empires by focusing on a small number of high-yield investments. Buffett famously said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Actionable tip. Audit your spending and investments. Are you allocating your money toward the 20% that grows your wealth? If not, start redirecting your resources today. Part 5. The power of elimination. One of the most liberating aspects of the 80-20 principle is learning to let go of what doesn't matter. Koch emphasizes that saying no is a superpower. By eliminating the trivial 80%, you free up time and energy to focus on what truly moves the needle. Real-life application. Koch himself adopted this principle to design a lifestyle of financial freedom. He worked less but achieved more by focusing exclusively on high-leverage activities. Your takeaway: ask yourself, what can I stop doing? Every task, commitment, or project should be scrutinized through the 80-20 lens. Part 6. Beyond work. Creating a life you love. The 80-20 principle isn't just about productivity. It's about designing a life of meaning and joy. Koch challenges readers to apply this principle to every area of life. Hobbies. Focus on the activities that bring you the most happiness. Health. Identify the small changes that lead to the biggest improvements, like cutting out sugar or committing to short, effective workouts. Learning. Focus on mastering skills that will provide the most long-term value. Storied from the book, Koch himself experienced a profound shift when he stopped chasing societal expectations and started designing his life around his 20%. By focusing on what he loved, writing, investing, and traveling, he achieved not only financial freedom, but also deep personal satisfaction. Here's the bottom line. Life is short. Why waste 80% of your time on things that barely move the needle? By identifying your vital 20% and doubling down on it, you can achieve more with less stress, fewer hours, and greater joy. Your challenge: take one area of your life, work, health, relationships, or finances, and apply the 80-20 principle today. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the 80-20 principle by Richard Koch. Remember, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. The link to purchase this book is in the description. See you in the next summary.